This is Radio Nepal. I am Dela Prasai with the news, the headlines first. President Bidyadevi Bhandari stresses need for adequate international laws for mountainous and island countries. Government to provide free treatment to acid attack victims. And Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky orders civilians to evacuate Donetsk region. Now the news in detail. President Bidyadevi Bhandari has stressed the need for adequate international laws for the best interest of mountainous and island countries. Addressing the inaugural session of the Asian Regional Conference on International Law in Lalitpur yesterday, President Bhandari pointed out the need for international laws to address the challenges posed by climate change. The President said there were no adequate international laws to protect the interest of the mountainous and island countries, although many international conferences on climate change were held over 3 decades. She said that only a world order based on justice would help understand the specific needs of developing countries like Nepal and the need to formulate policies accordingly. Affirming Nepal's position against nuclear arms races, President Bhandari remembered Nepal's commitment to various bilateral and multilateral treaties and conventions it has signed. President Bhandari said only the world order based on laws would address the needs of developing countries like Nepal. Saying Nepal believes in resolving any international disputes peacefully through dialogues, President Bhandari asserted that Nepal was always against any kind of war. The government has made a provision of offering free treatment services to the victims of acid attacks. Joint spokesperson at the Ministry of Health and Population, Dr. Samir Kumar Adhikari, has informed that the free treatment service to the survivors of acid attacks will be available at Tribhuvan University Teaching Hospital in Maharajganj, Bir Hospital, Patan Hospital, and Kirtipur Hospital. Joint spokesperson Dr. Adhikari further says an arrangement has been made so that the victims of acid attacks can also take free emergency service at any of the health institutions across the country. The government has also endorsed the procedures for treatment of acid attacks victims 2021. CPN Maoist Centre Chairman Pushpakamal Dahal Prachanda has claimed farmer-focused budget has been presented to boost production in the country. In his address to a program organized by the Party Relations Coordination Committee yesterday, he said the reactionary forces have made allegations against the farmer-focused budget. He asserted that country's development is not possible without his party. Chairman of the CPN Unified Socialist Madhav Kumar Nepal has expressed the belief that the five-party alliance will continue even after federal and provincial assembly elections. Talking to media persons at Silgadi in Doti yesterday, Chairman Nepal said that an agreement had been reached among top leaders of the five-party to continue the alliance even after elections. The number of tigers in Sukla Fata National Park has doubled. According to Acting Chief Conservation Officer of the park, Manoj Iyer, the number of spotted tigers increased to 36, including 16 females, 12 males, and 8 whose gender is yet not known. Acting Chief Conservation Officer Iyer said the number of endangered species has increased due to the improvement in the habitat and sufficiency of food spaces among other reasons. He said the commitment of the country to double the number of tigers within the year 2022 has been fulfilled. Meanwhile, Hollywood actor Leonardo DiCaprio, via his Twitter handle, congratulated Nepal on being successful to meet the global commitment made in 2010. In 2010, Nepal made a commitment to double the tiger population in Nepal. The Ministry of Health and Population has reported 438 new cases of COVID-19 in Nepal in the past 24 hours. According to the ministry, the cases were confirmed while testing 3,699 samples. The total number of active cases now stands at 4,369 in the country. Meantime, 277 people recovered from the virus infection yesterday. The ministry also recorded 2 corona-related deaths in the past 24 hours. Likewise, 2 infected people lost their lives due to COVID-19 yesterday. International Nepalese Journalist Association INJA has presented this year's INJA Investigative Journalism Award to senior journalist Gajendra Budathoki. The award was presented to Budathoki for his investigative journalism on the issue of tax evading by an international company Coca-Cola in Nepal. At a program organized in Kathmandu yesterday on the 5th anniversary of INJA, Minister for Communications and Information Technology Gyanendra Bahadur Karki honoured journalist Budathoki with 100,000 rupees and a letter of felicitation. On the occasion, the minister stressed the need for Nepali journalists to serve as a strong medium to become the voice for the voiceless. You are listening to Radio Nepal 8 AM English News Bulletin. We continue with the international updates now. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has ordered all civilians still living in parts of eastern Donetsk region under Ukrainian control to evacuate. Speaking during a late-night address from Kiev, Zelensky warned of an intensification of fighting. The region has seen heavy clashes amid a slow advance by Russian forces who already control large parts of it. The more people leave Donetsk region now, the fewer people the Russian army will have time to kill, the Ukrainian president said. Zelensky's intervention comes as Russia invited UN and Red Cross officials to investigate the deaths of 50 Ukrainian prisoners of war in another part of Donetsk region held by Russian-backed separatists. The troops were killed in unclear circumstances during an attack on a prison in Olenivka, with both sides trading blame. Speaking on Saturday evening, Russian defense officials said Moscow would welcome an objective investigation into the incident. Devastating flash floods have killed at least 25 people in the Appalachia region of eastern Kentucky, the worst such disaster there for decades. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear said he expected the death toll to continue to rise. He said hundreds of homes and businesses had been flooded. U.S. President Joe Biden has declared the floods as a major disaster and ordered federal aid to help local rescuers. Among the dead are at least 6 children, including a 1-year-old. Scientists say climate change is triggering more extreme weather events like the Kentucky flooding. Hundreds of people have been rescued by boat and helicopter. Now, the general weather forecast for the country for today. Forecasting division says the weather is likely to be partly to generally cloudy throughout the country. Light to moderate rain with thunder and lightning is likely to occur at some places of the country. Kathmandu's weather report now. Maximum temperature of 28.5 degrees Celsius and minimum temperature of 20.6 degrees Celsius. With this news, we have come to the end of this bulletin, but before we wrap up the headlines once again. President Vidyadevi Bhandari stresses need for adequate international laws for mountainous and island countries, government to provide free treatment to acid attack victims, and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky orders civilians to evacuate Donetsk region. Well, that's all that we have for this edition. Our next English news edition is at 2 in the afternoon. You can also listen to us online at our website www.radionepal.gov.np for more news and online programs. Stay tuned, stay safe, and have a good day.